right, welcome to Atlanta News First Plus. We're going to get to some of the stories in our In Case You Missed It segment, but I want to let you know that we are watching this situation live right now. I just wanted to take you inside the courtroom in Fulton County Superior Court. And this is inside the courtroom for the YSL RICO trial. So the remaining two defendants on trial right now, Diamante Kendrick and Shannon Stillwell. And the jury now deliberating for its third day. They broke for the Thanksgiving weekend. You know, they were deliberating on Tuesday. They deliberated on Wednesday. They broke early at 3 p.m. without having reached a verdict. They come back into the courtroom this morning, and you know, you see a bit of commotion there. It looks like attorneys have been having conversations with the judge. And what we do know that happened just over the weekend, rapper Yak Gotti was actually stabbed in jail. That's Diamante Kendrick. His attorney telling us he's actually doing relatively fine and you know, back in court, but certainly a concern. And we did speak one-on-one with Doug Weinstein, who you can see off in the right-hand side of your screen. I got a chance to speak with him last week. He told me that Mr. Kendrick was feeling confident as they wait for the outcome of this verdict. So I want to let you know you can stream this gavel to gavel here on Atlanta News First Plus. You know, we're going to, of course, keep an eye out for the verdict, and we're going to bring that to you just as soon as that happens. For right now, let's talk about some of the other news that you may have missed in case you missed it. Here's Brooks Baptiste joining us, our morning anchor. Good morning, Brooks.
Good morning to you. So we've got a couple of stories that we're watching this morning. Obviously, this past Friday was Black Friday, meaning today is Cyber Monday. So there are many of you who are probably going to be doing some shopping. Not my business if you're doing it while you're on the clock, but I'm just saying a lot of people are going to be doing some shopping today, and Amazon will likely be one of those places that a lot of people check out. So we actually got a chance to go to the Amazon Fulfillment Center in Stone Mountain. And what's interesting about it here is the fact that they have a robotic, I should say, fulfillment center. Right now, we can tell you that the National Retail Federation predicts about 72 million Americans are going to be shopping today for Cyber Monday. So a lot of orders are going to be passing through between now and Christmas Day, December 25th. But there at the Amazon Fulfillment Center, we're talking about 700,000 packages that will likely be processed there at that facility. There are hundreds and hundreds of robots in there, along with people that you see there on the screen that are making things happen. And officials there say these robots come in handy on one of their busiest days of the year.
When you go to Amazon.com and click something that you want, basically the order comes here. Our employees interact with our robots, pick the item out, place it into one of these yellow bins where it goes to a packer, and then we ship it out to one of our delivery stations.
So we've been telling you that there are not just the robots out there, but there are also many people out there. We're talking about more than 3,000 employees that are going to be picking, packing, and shipping in addition to those robots. So likely going to be a place that is booming all day. And at least the next 2 days, since they always do the 2-day prime shipping and whatnot, so they've got to get all of those packages out of there. But just something to keep in mind if you are planning to do some shopping on this Cyber Monday. Also, Joy, what's interesting about these days is that you have Black Friday, Cyber Monday, what is there? Small Business Saturday, then there's Cyber Monday, and then there's Giving Tuesday, which is tomorrow. And here's something that's really interesting because we know how important it is to give just as we receive. Tomorrow being Giving Tuesday, this is the biggest fundraising days, one of the biggest fundraising days of the year for nonprofits. In both 2022 and last year, get this, Giving Tuesday raised more than $3 billion. A lot of local organizations hope you are going to contribute. We do have some of those for you on AtlantaNewsFirst.com and the free Atlanta News First app. Joy, I've received so many emails in just the past day or so about Giving Tuesday because a lot of those nonprofits depend on the public to help fund and support and make sure they, contribute to their mission. And that is what allows those nonprofits to thrive.
Absolutely, absolutely, Brooks. Thank you so much for reminding everyone about that. And on that note, I actually just wanted to shed the light on a nonprofit here in our area that actually helps find missing Georgians who have Alzheimer's. So, you know, it's a great initiative, and sadly here in the news business, we have to report frequently on people with Alzheimer's or dementia who do go missing in Metro Atlanta. It has been quite an issue this year, and the community's eyes and ears obviously can be helpful, but this group out there is committed to helping track down missing loved ones. That is their mission. Atlanta News First reporter Sawyer Bussey has this story.
Rosa Mae Dawson from DeKalb County has been missing since November 13th. John Clark has been part of a crew searching for her. He's a member of Georgia Emergency Search and Rescue. The crew volunteers their time to search for missing people in the community.
My grandparents both died of Alzheimer's, and that's 20 years ago, and I was looking for some way to help people.
When we have missing persons with Alzheimer's or dementia, his team will go out. If they're called by a family or first responders, they'll go out and do a search.
They're certified by the nonprofit National Association for Search and Rescue. John also volunteers with the Alzheimer's Association. He works with law enforcement, training them on ways to better search for people with Alzheimer's or dementia who go missing.
People with this disease and where they're likely to go and where they're likely to be found.
The crew says the holidays can be a time when people with Alzheimer's can wander off, solely because they're outside of their memory care facilities.
Right now, we're reaching cold temperatures during Thanksgiving and Christmas, where time is of an essence.
The feeling that you get when you reunite lost people with their families and their loved ones, you can't put words to that.
In Gwinnett County, Sawyer Bussey, Atlanta News First.
And, speaking of nonprofits trying to help during the holiday season, what about folks who are trapped outside when it's cold? We've been talking so much about the freezing temperatures that we've been having, and unfortunately, so many people don't have even access to housing. Our Bridget Spencer has a look at an organization that is trying to help those who really have no place else to go. I apologize, I'm having a little bit of trouble getting her report to play right now, but we'll try to come back to that a little bit later. Another topic, though, top of mind today is, of course, for a lot of us, holiday spending. People are starting to get those holiday gifts, and holiday shopping, the surge is really there. It's in full swing at the moment, actually, and inflation is still a top concern for a lot of Americans, but apparently it's not expected to stop them from spending. Our Washington correspondent Ashanti Ford spoke to an economist.
I feel like everything's just too expensive.
But that's not stopping millions of consumers from spending money this holiday season, according to Jack Kleinhans, a chief economist at the National Retail Federation.
We expect about 183 million people to plan to shop this 5-day holiday weekend.
Black Friday alone, historically, a multi-billion-dollar unofficial holiday, raked in a staggering $9.8 billion in 2023, with the average shopper spending just over $300.
Household finances are in relatively good shape, and that should be the impetus for spending. Income has been good, and it's been faster than inflation, even though you pointed out how much higher prices have been, but prices have been coming down. And in fact, in retail, prices for nearly all retail sales products are very attractive this holiday season.
Kleinhans said the average shopper is expected to spend $900 per person this year.
People's dollars can go further, and their wallets will be a little bit fuller in terms of their spending on gift cards, clothing, books, personal care products, all of the holiday spending on gifts that goes along with the holiday.
The National Retail Federation says 60% of Americans started their shopping weeks ago, but Kleinhans said that won't stop millions of consumers from taking advantage of Small Business Saturday and Cyber Monday, which he says reflects overall economic growth. In the nation's capital, Ashanti Ford.
All right, and thanks so much to Ashanti for that report. So I mentioned, the efforts to really make sure that people who are unhoused, are homeless, they are able to stay warm, because we've been talking about the bitterly cold temperatures, the first alert weather day, and all of that. Bridget Spencer has a closer look at an initiative to help in our area.
It's freezing, people die.
Sadiqa McLean knows what it's like to bear the brutal cold.
Gotta have big old covers and gotta be bundled up real good.
She's been unhoused for a year, and she's among the hundreds living on the streets of Atlanta, bracing for freezing temperatures. But for people like her, there is help.
We make sure that all the linens are done really fresh. We make sure that we have all the food stacked up we're going to need. We make sure that we actually bring in extra cots.
Frontline Response is just one place that's opening their doors as a warming center during this cold season. They're also open during some other parts of the year, but their CEO says this time of year can get busy.
We may have here anywhere between 25 to 30 people because we do really intense work. But when the cold weather comes in, those numbers explode up to around 150.
CEO Terry Tucker says if you see someone on the street who needs help, don't hesitate to reach out to him.
Not only do we, have our door open, we go out and look for people where we know they're located, and we try to encourage them to come in.
Frontline Response is already seeing an influx ahead of the bitter cold overnight hours. He's just hoping the most vulnerable people get the message that they're not alone.
It's very sad, and I'm tired of seeing people dying or freezing.
In Atlanta, Bridget Spencer, Atlanta News First.
More on that and all of our top stories on AtlantaNewsFirst.com and our free mobile news app. I also just want to take you live back one more time into Fulton County Superior Court. This is the courtroom where the YSL RICO trial is underway. The jury has been deliberating, and if you want to go over and watch our coverage, we have our live stream on this, where you can watch inside the courtroom, get our gavel-to-gavel coverage, and we're keeping an eye on this for whenever a verdict does come down. Again, this is the third day now that the jury has been deliberating in the YSL RICO trial. Remaining defendants, Diamante Kendrick and Shannon Stillwell, are the two remaining defendants. There's Stillwell with his attorney Max Shard, the jurors have been asking several questions. They asked to rewatch videos. They broke for the Thanksgiving holiday a little bit early, 3 p.m. on Wednesday, and they were admonished not to read the news, social media, all that, not to talk about the case, all that. So we'll see if they come up with a verdict today, and we're going to bring it to you live. Also want to let you know at 1 p.m.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you all had a pleasant Thanksgiving break. First things first, I know y'all have sent out a note requesting to review certain of the evidence. It's stated 11-2. I suspect you mean 12-2. Do you mind if I